There. Good. I think everything's good. All right. Okay, so let's come back, and we're going to come back to seated. So you can see with myself, I'm sitting up on something. Okay, and I've also got my block ready, just a little bit of a seat. You don't have to. Some of you are certainly a whole lot more flexible than me, but especially in the morning, you know, just slightly up on something is always really good for the low back. And that's what we really want to make sure of. And so I'm sitting cross-legged, and it's springtime in India, just as an aside. It's what they call the Navaratri, and it's the 9 days of the goddess. And every day is devoted to one of the goddess deities. And I was going to look up today and I forgot to, but whenever we got 9 days of the goddess, we're moving, we're on it. So it's a good time. They say it's a good time to bring in world peace, because when the goddess enters, that's that feminine energy, right? And so trying to bring in more of the warrior of the heart here today. So let's go ahead and let's find our balls. If you've got your ball, I've got my neuro ball today. I was already working on my body with it earlier. And let's go ahead and say hello to our hands. And spread your fingers, and you could just focus on one palm or focus on both. But really check in with these hands, that gripping. In fact, a lot of times it's subconscious how much we grip, right? And that gripping starts in the hands, but it goes right up through the elbows, the shoulders, the neck, the jaw, you know. So we want to try to really spread now, which is the opposite of gripping. And then go ahead and get really close to the wrist and go side to side with the ball. You could even rest your hand, back of your hand on your leg, and try to really work into that area. That's the carpal tunnel. Okay, and then the other hand. So waking up the hands, just like the feet, is so amazing for the body, so amazing for the brain. They say there's so many nerve endings in the hands and the feet. And then let's bring it back to center, right to the center of each palm, and lightly clasp. And on an inhale, lift up, try to bring elbows towards each other. And as you exhale, release that and round. And then again, inhale, reach way up. Exhale, round, tuck your chin. And inhale, and as you reach up, look up if you can, and then come back down. And then let's come back to center and start to do circles. And so try to really relax into the jaw area and the back of the neck, just circling in one direction, no sharp pain, and then other direction. The shoulders can hold years and years of tension and trauma and issues, right? And so we want to be gentle, but also we want to be there. And then let's come right back to center. And I'm pressing into this ball right about kind of between the chest and the throat. And I'm lifting those elbows, but pulling my shoulders back, and just hold here and breathe. Nice deep breaths here. You press as much as you feel good with. So this is the shoulder girdle, and it's like a circle of energy that goes all the way around. You can probably feel it. And just take a couple more presses here. I'm just holding mine, and then let that go. Wow. And hang on to the ball for a moment as we lift up our shoulders and roll back. And again, lift up and roll back, and just think shoulders as you do this. Let's do a few more. Oh yeah. Trying to really find, it's a ball and socket joint, just like the hips. So really finding that motion. Okay. And then we're going to work a little bit with the neck. So I'm going to put it right here where the shoulder meets the neck, and I'm going to lift the shoulder, drop the side of the head, and squeeze that ball. And then let the other arm go. You know, if you can get your palm to touch down or your fingertips, And then start to roll your head forward and back. Kind of like you're saying yes, a really big yes. And what we're doing is we're massaging the back of the jaw, believe it or not. It's back there behind the ear and low. Oh yeah. And then let that go. I needed that. And let's go to the other side. And start to roll forward and back. Oh yeah. And once again, try to relax the back of the jaw as well as the eyes. Just really let those eyes rest. And then come back to center. And let's get rid of that ball, put it away somewhere where you won't step on it, okay? And I'm gonna reach back now with my fingers, but I'm gonna turn my hands backwards to do that. So see if you can do that. And then reach out your legs one at a time. Now, as you're doing this, spread your toes, and each time try to straighten your knee each time. So we're activating certainly into the legs, into the feet, but we're also activating into the low belly. And just a couple more times, and then recross. So I'm going to come off of my lift, and you can decide if you are or not. Now I'm recrossing again here, and I'm going to take my left hand to my right knee. Now you have, instead of rounding your chest, try to be as upright as you can. And then plant your right fingers behind you down into the mat to roll open that right chest. Take a deep inhale. And as you exhale, see if you can rotate a little more to the back, really thinking about low belly here. And hold their breathing. If you can, try to open the chest both sides. So the right side and the left. And then come back out. Woof. And stay as tall as you can. And we'll go to that other side. So I'm pulling my shoulders back and down. And I'm trying to stay as upright as I can. And I'm using exhales to find a deep rotation. It's safest when it's way deep down. Nice deep breaths here. And then come back. I just had a big click. And once again, reach back with those fingertips. And this time, as you're pushing out one leg at a time, push it out towards the side. Towards the side each time. Yeah. And just notice, is each hip the same, or is one hip a little different than the other, which is very common. And then feet flat. Feet flat, I'm going to be facing you still. I've got one hand under each kneecap. Exhale, round back. And as you inhale, belly first, then chest, then throat. And exhale, round back. So now we're really talking to the spine. Inhale, reach. And exhale, round back. And let's do 2 more of these. Use those arm muscles. Okay, we want to get stronger as well here. Now here's our last one. Stay forward. My elbows are tucked in. I'm trying to push my upper chest forward, push the throat forward, and then come back slowly and stay rounded. Chin is tucked. Navel is pulling down and back towards the spine, and your elbows are as straight as possible, really stretching the area of the body that gets so tight. And then come back up. Oh yeah. And let's recross again. Okay, so recrossing, I'm feeling even better now sitting here. Now I'm going to keep my left hand on my left knee. We haven't done this in a while. And I'm going to take my right hand behind and push down again into the mat. And then I'm going to squeeze both shoulder blades towards each other behind me as I rotate to the right. So open chest twist, holding here, eyes are quiet. And release. And let's do the other side. Right hand, right knee. plant that left palm. Now, roll those shoulders back and down behind you and squeeze those shoulder blades together as you rotate even deeper. This open chest twist is amazing for us women as we age, because that upper back is what really gets tight. And then come back to center. Oh yeah. And let's take our feet forward again, and feet are planted. And now I'm turning sideways in case you need to see. And as you exhale, round back. And as you inhale forward, just one more like that. Exhale, round back. Inhale forward and take it right into boat pose. So the tendency is to round back. Try not to. Try to keep that chest lifting forward. Try to keep the low back pushing forward. Tricky stuff. Remember, if you feel off, put your fingers down and rest. Let your head go. Just let it go. Come back upright. Lean back on your hands. Feet are even wider than your mat. And let's do some windshield wipers. Just saying good morning a little bit more to those hips. And just noticing, so I'm noticing my right hip feels a little tighter. Now drop your right knee out and bring that right foot in closer. And we're kind of coming to our dolphin diving. If you need to have a look at me, go ahead. And here we go. Exhale, round down, skim your nose to your knee, inhale up. And again, exhale, round down. And as you inhale up, it's like you're coming out of the water like a dolphin. And let's do a few more of these. You're really working with pulling your belly in also. Here comes our last one like that. Then come upright like you're just emerging from the water, but you're leaning forward, and hold here breathing. Your right hip is down, but your left one is usually up, okay? Then if you can, you're gonna start to take the midline of your chest right down over that thigh, over that knee. Rest your forehead on something and take several breaths into the back of the body. Coming back up carefully, lean into your right palm. So we're still into this right hip. Now, if you're able to, not everybody will, lift your left knee and left foot, okay? And if you can, lift your left arm and then straighten that left knee and bend it, and straighten it and bend it. And you can really be leaning deeply into the right side. And then we're gonna hold it out straight, reaching up that left arm and bring it back down. Woohoo! And let's come back again to our windshield wipers. Oh yeah, that helped my hip. Okay. And then we're gonna drop everything to the left. Adjust yourself. So I adjust myself quite a bit so you can see me in case you need to. And here we go, dolphin diving. Exhale, round down, inhale, come back up. So you're thinking more upper and mid back. That's what you want to get moving. And that can feel so tight for so many people, especially women. And here comes our last one. And then stay emerged here for a moment, just breathing. I'm up on fingertips. Then start to bring the torso down right over that left knee, that left leg, and breathe here. So once again, and I need to say this over and over, no matter how many years we've been doing yoga together, no sharp pain, okay? It's certainly a dull pulling. And then come back up. We're gonna lean into the left palm and try to lift the right knee and the right foot and the right arm. And then straighten that knee and bend it. Straighten it and bend it. And if you want to add another dimension here, spread your toes. And we have just one more. straighten it and hold, and really lift that arm up. And then bring it back down. And once again, windshield wipers. I want you to just check in with those hips, that low back, right? And the upper back. Mine feels certainly more open. And then come back to center and boat pose. Why? Because we want to strengthen everything we just stretched. Hold their breathing. And then put your feet down in front of you. Drop your knees open and get a hold of your toes. Okay, I'm going to walk my heels in. I've got my feet held separately, each foot, each hand, and then lean back a bit and let's launch this balancing pose. So you could be tiny like I'm doing, where my feet are just a few inches off the mat, or I know some of you are working your way all the way up. There you go, I see it. Nice. Try to really work with the deep belly muscles. That's what's really controlling these poses, not your jaw. Try to hold a little bit more, gaze up. And then we're going to try to come down slowly. So look down to do that. Looking down and all the way down. Okay, let's straighten out our right leg and prepare for Janu Shirsasana, head to knee pose. So I've got my long elastic. You could use your belt or nothing. Okay, some people say I don't really need anything. Okay, so you decide, and then you decide where you're putting that left bottom of your foot. And if your hammies are super tight, your right knee is bent. Okay, because we want to save the back. And then shoulders back and down. We're not going to come all the way down right away. First, take an inhale and really extend upwards. And then on the exhale, just come partway forward with a straight spine, hold and breathe. Try to pull those toes towards your face. That is so important, especially for if you've been hiking a lot. Another exhale will maybe take you deeper. Finally, and some of you will choke way up on that strap or hold the foot, round your upper back, forehead to knee. Then come back up to the first position. I'm really pulling on the strap or elastic. My chest is reaching forward. And we're going to take and put and hold the strap with just your right hand. Okay, and then start to rotate your body so that your right elbow is coming down to the knee, or the inner knee is better if you can get that. And try to lift your left arm. Hold here and breathe. Those who want more juju will take that left arm over the side of the head, trying to find those right toes. So now you gotta take long exhales here. Long exhales to really stretch the upper hip, the upper left hip. And then come back up, rotate right back over that right leg and come down deeper if you can. So true Janu Shirsasana, you're tucking your chin deeply into that upper front of the neck. And then come back up. We'll release the strap for a moment because we're going to come into half circle, left palm down and come up on the left knee and open up into half circle. Really open up that chest. Now, if you want more juju, lift your right leg. Lift it up, hold and breathe. It's so cool how many of you are doing this. And then release. And let's take our legs out in front of us and just kind of work those knees a little bit like you're walking. And then we'll go to the other side. This is such a wonderful pose. I actually don't do it enough, and it's so good for the body. So now adjust the side to what your body needs, okay? That's also the beauty of doing a practice at home, is that you're not feeling as competitive with others. Okay, so let's go to that first level. where we pull the elbows back and reach a straight spine forward. As though you could get your nose to your toes. After a few breaths, see if you can go deeper. And I'm really trying to pull my toes towards my face, the front of my foot. And finally, tuck your chin and round your forehead down. And then come back up. Whew. And the strap goes just in the left hand as we rotate open the chest. Try to drop that left elbow down and lift the right arm. So right here, you could stay right here breathing. We're trying to present the left side of our body down towards that left leg. And maybe the arm comes up over the side of the head. For me, this side is certainly tighter. My right side is being really stretched. And then carefully come back out and drop in deeper. This is one of those poses that calms the mind once you can get past the sensations of the hamstrings. And come back up. And we're going to release the strap, take the right palm down, come up to half circle, really open up, really feel that opening. And then if you want, lift the left leg. Oh yeah. And bring yourselves back down. Take a moment here, finding a cross-legged position again. Taking palms together right at heart center. Let your eyes drift closed. And then next inhale, lift the arms up overhead. Oh. And again, inhale. Oh. And one more time. Oh. Coming right into the center of this body. Let's clasp all of our fingers except for the index. Except for the index finger, which is reaching kind of upwards. Kali Mudra. So Kali is known as the destroyer of falsehood, the destroyer of what's not working, the destroyer of things that keep us back from who we really are. And that's what this Navaratri is about in the Hindu way, is to destroy the old so we can move into the new. And then let's release and lean back again. And I'm going to really lean back with a straight spine and then reach your legs forward and up. Now, if you're able to, one arm comes up and then the other. You could bend your knees. Remember, if you want even more intensity, palms come together above you or a little bit at a diagonal, and Kali Mudra, reaching. So there's a bit of what they call tapas with Kali, in that you have to feel the heat in the body for it to be working. Just a little bit longer. And rest. Let your head go. And just notice how a really deep breath just starts to enter. Then come back upright, and we're preparing for 3 table poses. I'll turn sideways. Okay, we're going to hold the third one. Fingers out to the sides, palms flat. Get those shoulders back now. And then inhale up, exhale down. That's slowly again. Inhale up, exhale exhale down. This last one, we're going to inhale up and stay there. So think about those shoulder blades and try to squeeze them towards each other. Think about your butt muscles. Squeeze them a little to reach up higher. And let that go. And then come forward again and just rest. That one can be so challenging for me. Why? I'm not really sure, but it has always been challenging for me. Okay, from there, let's take our knees behind us and come to all fours. So our journey today starts down low, down to the floor here, down to the earth. And let's take some cat cows to say hello, to really say hello to this whole body integrating. And let's take one more cat cow. And then come back to that neutral place and start to do those barrel rolls. Really work into them. Really work into those barrel rolls. And then other direction. Let's see if you can really lift that belly and come back to center. Woohoo! Exhale, sunbird, right arm, left leg. Hold it there and breathe. Really feel the depth of this pose, the strength of that leg. Now listen to my instructions. Put your palm down. And then start to just back your hips back and try to get your forearms down. So if you have to make other adjustments, no problem. And then if you're able to, try to get your forehead down right between the thumbs and lift that left leg higher. And breathe here. This is for the pelvic floor, breathing into this area. And then try to come right back up to all threes. Lengthen out that right arm again, but we're not quite done. We're going to bend the knee and take the right arm out to the side, palm down. And then if you're able to, reach back and get that foot, or just stay where we were at. Now hold here and breathe. Nice big back bend here. Try to roll open that right chest. And then release and right back to sunbird again. So very powerful to do these. We're not quite done. Exhale, tiger. Inhale, reach. And again, exhale, tiger, round and tightly. Inhale, reach. One more time. Hold and breathe. And then reach back out. Try to really work with this. Take your palm down, take your knee down. Let's wag our tails. Let's release those wrists. Oh yeah. And before we go any further, take your hands at least one hand's length forward and as wide as your mat, and come up on fingertips and pull back to an extended child pose. Try to really let your forehead drop down to the mat. Breathe here. And come back up to all fours. Okay, other side, other diagonal. Exhale, left arm, right leg. Hold here strong. Feel the power of that back leg. Then take your arm out to the left, palm down, bend that knee. You could stay there or reach back and get the foot. That's the hard part. And try to bring yourself back into this back bend. Release and come back to that sunbird, holding there. And we're going to exhale and round into tiger 3 times, holding the 3rd time in. And I'm just approaching my 3rd time. Round it in, hold, chin is tucked. And then come back out to that sunbird. Now I'm starting to feel the heat in my body. Put your left palm down. We're not done, right? We're going to pull back and try to bring your forearms down. And then your forehead down right between your thumbs and lift that right leg. And then push those palms and come back up. Last time sunbird. Hold there. You might be shaking. I am. Put your hand down, your knee down, and let's wag our tails. Release those hands, those wrists. Oh yeah. Okay, once again, this time though, widen up your knees and keep your feet as wide as your knees. And then take your hands at least one hand's length forward, come up on fingertips, claw the mat as you pull back. You could even have your hands off the mat to the sides to really get a really deep stretch through your armpits and the sides of your body. And then come back up to all fours. Adjust yourself for our first downward facing dog. Oh yeah, here we go. Move right into that pose. We're not going to stay there. We're going to stay static. We're going to stay dynamic. So we're going to walk our dog. Oh yeah. Can you let your head go more? Let it go. Really press one heel down and then the other. Then come into the full pose for you. Now listen to my instrucciones. Inhale to plank. Hold and breathe. You know the drill. You can put your knees down. Try not to round your upper back. Now your next exhale, bend those knees and come back to downward facing dog. Really stretch into it. We have one more like this in a moment. And here we go. Inhale to plank. So you got to work into the butt muscles as well here. They will help stabilize you. And then soften the knees and back to downward facing dog. Stretch. Now listen to my instructions. Start to walk your hands back to your feet till your feet are flat. Bend those hips very deeply and the knees and come to chair pose. Try to hold this pose. Try to go into it deeper, like you're looking for that chair behind you. And then put one hand each knee and come up just a tiny bit with your hips and round your spine and reach your chest. So some standing cat cows. Couple more times. A lot of shoulder work today. And then come up to standing. Oh yeah. And let's move around a little bit. All right, so good to see all of you. I thought I was dying last week. Oh man. Okay. Anywhere you want to be on your mat, anywhere you want to be. Okay. We're going to move into our left leg and we're going to inhale to stork. Hold and breathe. Remember, the toe touch is totally respectable. And then come down, palms together. Good. Take a moment to always sink evenly into both legs. That's a practice in itself. Other side. Try to have a really nicely lengthened straight spine, and I can see it. People are really standing nice and straight. That's from all that other work we've done. And then bring it back to center. So you're going to grab your elastic or your strap. And you also don't have to. Okay. So with this one, if it feels like too much, please don't use it. Okay. And then before we do anything, I just want you to check where you want the strap. So for me, I'm using an elastic and I'm trying to strengthen my upper body more. So I've got it about here and I'm kind of lightly pulling. That's where I'm going to hang on. Okay. So wherever you're going to be with that. Remember, if your shoulders are bugging you, don't use that. So here we go. We're holding on to our straps. We take our palms together for just that moment. We come into our left leg very strong and then open up to stork, strap overhead. Breathe here. Try to work those shoulders down the back of the body. Hold here. I know you might be shaking. Now, if you want to join me for the next part, straighten that leg straight forward. And release. Just take a moment there. So especially women, we need to strengthen our upper bodies. So very important. But remember, try to keep your jaw relaxed. Let's go into the other side. Find that foot. Press it down as you lift everything else up. I like the elastic because it gives me that sense of deeper tone, though the strap can work as well. Hold your breathing. And then try to straighten that leg out. Looks good. Looks good. Keep holding. Some of you might find this is easier using the strap. And come back down. Palms come back together. Keep the strap. Use your breath. Okay, we're going to try to advance this. So we're going to move into that left leg. Lift up. Find the strap overhead. Pulling, shoulders down though, and then reach out the leg. Try to stay with me. Bend the knee and push the bottom of the foot back. So just enough. Keep working with the strap. And then those that want to try to come deeper, the strap's overhead, and breath. And then try to come back through and down. Take a moment. Take a moment. There's an intensity there. And then let's go to the other side. Okay, so know your limitations. Please work with them. So first holding up here, then pushing out. Then bend that knee and take the foot back behind you like you're pushing it into a wall. You can stay right there or keep going. Some of you like to go to this full baby bird takes flight. Breath here. Come back through. That's the hardest part for me. And down. Palms together. Palms together. Take a moment. Notice how that breath just moved through you. I love that. That's the joy for me. We're not quite done here. Remember, if the strap or elastic feels too hard, widen it up, okay? Widen up your legs, at least as wide as the mat, and slight turn out, okay? And then let's go ahead and release those shoulders by picking them up and rolling them back and down. So what we're doing is we're actually developing the kind of mid to lower back where we should be so the shoulders can be a little more relaxed. Okay, here we go. Inhale up. Exhale, bend the elbows, strap behind you as you come to a squat. Inhale, back up. And if you want more juju, go ahead and choke in. Exhale. Keep the chest lifted. Inhale up. Try not to crunch your toes so much. Exhale. Inhale up. Remember, you could get rid of the strap and do goddess pose instead. Last one. Now hold your breathing. I'm really trying to open my chest. And come back up. Release. Get rid of the strap for now. Roll one shoulder, the other. Move those legs a little. And let's come up to the fronts of our mat. If you need to have a block nearby, whatever you think you might need for props, take your palms together. I want you to just notice right now, don't you feel taller? Don't you feel straighter through that upper back, more open through the chest? That's what we want. And then take an inhale and reach up so tall. And as you exhale, forward fold. Inhale, part way up, stretch. And now as you exhale and drop the torso, right leg back. There's our first lunge, okay? First lunge of the day. Try to keep the back knee lifted, up on fingertips, Now, once again, shoulders are kind of rolling back a little and coming down the back body. Breath here. Then plant your left palm and I'm sorry, plant your right palm. Sorry. Plant your right palm and open up the left arm and chest. Try to really push the palm into the floor as you lift the left arm straight up. That's that counter work that's going on through the body here. And then come back. Now we're going to do the other way. Turn the back foot, place it flat. Bring your left forearm to the left bent knee. And here we are in our side angle pose. If you feel really tight today, don't come in deep. You'll know what you need. And if you can, lift your right arm straight up again. Straight up, really reach it up. So now you have another option here I want to give you. You could take your left palm right down to the mat, right in front, or right to the side there in front of that foot, and open up. You could also use a block. Turn your head to look down, turn this whole body back to lunge pose. And let's step forward. Inhale, partway up. Exhale, release. Next inhale, come all the way up. Just stretch and back to heart. And just take a moment, just finding that deeper breath. So the spring weather in Tucson right now has just been so delicious. I wish it was like this year round. It's just so yummy. And then here we go. Inhale, reach up so tall. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, partway up, stretch. And as you exhale and drop the torso, left leg back. Oh yeah, there's that really nice lunge. Activate that back leg, make it strong. Left palm down, open up the right, really open up. Now here, if you can, push firmly through that left palm in order to feel the front of the chest open more. And then come back. Turn the back foot, place it flat. Let's come up to our side angle pose. What's right for you? Yeah, make sure that that front foot is pointing forward along your mat, okay? And then find your pose. And I'm also going to show you that other advancement where I take my right palm down. So if you need to have a look, and then I lift that left arm even more. Very challenging for me. And let's come back to that lunge pose. So little change here. We're taking it to plank pose. Oh my God. So how do you make plank easier? You do it every day till you get stronger, but you widen up your legs, Strong pose here, hold here. Then take your knees down and wide, really wide, maybe even wider than your mat. Big toes touch. Now start to pull your hips back and down. Try to get them right down to your heels, and then forearms down. So that might feel good, but some of you might be able to bring your forehead down or your chin, or some of you can bring your chest down. And then bring yourselves up to sitting onto the heels or block, and knees come in just a tiny bit. So my knees are back on my mat, okay? And I'm going to turn my fingers backwards, and I'm going to try to push the fingertips into the mat behind me, but close to my body, okay? So that's a chest opener. And then lift up those hips, open up the heart space. Sometimes for me, it feels like a creaky door, just trying to get open, and then come back down. And we're going to try, some of you can, to sit between the feet, okay? Only if your knees stay down. Knees can widen up as much as need be. And then try to crawl the torso forward and down, trying to keep the hips down. Mine pop up a tiny bit, and breathe. So this is the beginning of what's called puppy pose, something we're going to try today. And just try to relax your chest down to the mat. Sometimes that takes widening the arms. And then bring yourselves back up. Bring your knees in closer even and come to all fours. Okay, so with puppy pose, and if you want to have a look at me, and I haven't done this in a while, my hip is right over my knee. It's not back behind it. It's not in front of it. That's going to be the most important. Then watch how I take my forearms down. So some of you will come here and that'll be your puppy. Make sure your hip is over your knee. Others of you can get your chest and chin right down. And that's the full puppy. Use your breath or your forehead down if your neck is bothering you. You might feel some real creakiness in that upper back where it's just really stuck, and just breathe with it. And then carefully come back up, and let's take it back to a rounded child pose, something to just relax in. Something that you can breathe into fully. And if you need to shrug or roll your shoulders back, please do. We're going to do one more puppy in just a moment. Okay, come back up to all fours. So before we do another puppy, I want you to remember how easy it was or how hard it was for you. And we're going to do thread the needle first. Left arm. Here we go. Inhale. Exhale. Take it through. And then 2 more times on your own. Inhale. Open. And exhale. Take it through. One last time. I really missed all of you last week. I wished you were all around my bed. And then stay there breathing. Chin is slightly tucked. And start to take your thread the needle even bigger if you can. You know your routine of where you want to go with this pose. I'm even taking it to a leg lift of my right leg if you need to have a look. Stay strong in the belly, remember, strong in the belly. And then come down step by step, really back to all fours. Before we go back to thread the needle other side, we're going to first take a downward facing dog. I just want you to feel that you've probably opened more through the upper back and chest. And then bring yourself back down to all fours. Okay, other side, thread the needle. Here we go. Inhale. Exhale, take it through. Oh yeah. And then take it right back out. We have 2 more here. Whenever you get through that last one, you're going to stay there. And you're going to find your thread the needle, whatever it is for you. And I'm once again doing the full pose if you need to have a look. I'm really working the navel center right in towards my spine, and I'm trying to relax my jaw. And coming out step by step, all the way back to all fours. Woo! Okay, let's take 3 cat-cows because we're getting ready to go back into puppy pose as best as you can, okay? I'm going to talk you through it again. Here's my 3rd cat-cow. Okay, once again, my hip is right over my knee. I'm going to try to keep that there as I bring myself down to forearms. I'm going to widen up my forearms. My palms are flat. And that might be it. You might not be able to get your chest down at all. Or tip up your sits bones, stay right over the knees, and try to drop your chest down and your chin or your forehead. You got to breathe into that upper chest opening. You got to breathe into that upper back strengthening. And then carefully come out of that and come all the way back to child pose and just rest. You could lightly roll your shoulders. And as you're doing all this, ask yourself, was that second puppy pose easier for me? Maybe not, because it's like day surgery to really work with the upper and mid back. Okay, activate the belly. Inhale right up to knee stand. Exhale to all fours. Next exhale, downward facing dog. Stretch into it. Really stretch into it. Nice deep breaths here. Now listen to my instructions. Inhale to plank. Should feel more powerful. Hold a couple breaths. Okay, we're getting into 8-part bow. Here we go. Exhale, knees, chest, and chin, which should feel more accessible. Inhale, glide forward and up to a high cobra. Exhale, back to child pose. Rest again, a couple breaths. We're going to do 2 more sets of that little set. Okay, activate the belly. Inhale right up, stretch up. Exhale to all fours. I recommend hands wide apart. Next exhale, downward facing dog. Say hello to those hammies. Breathe here. Make sure your palms and fingers are planted. Here we go. Inhale to plank, strong body. Breathe again. Make sure you're broadening your chest. Then exhale, knees, chest, and chin. Inhale, glide forward and up. You decide how high. And as you exhale, tuck that chin and round back and rest. Like I said, this could feel like day surgery. We have 1 more. Here we go. Inhale right up to knee stand. Exhale to all fours. Next exhale, downward facing dog. Remember, knees could be bent. That's sometimes the better pose. So see where you're at here. Then inhale to plank, hold and breathe. You're squeezing those butt muscles to help you. And then here we go, a big inhale. Exhale, knees, chest, and chin. Inhale, glide forward and up. But this time, we're going to exhale and just come down to bellies and rest. You could rest your forehead straight down or to one side. You could glide your hips or windshield wipers. Let the body drop though. Let it drop. And then everybody, legs super wide, windshield wipers with forehead down. Check in. For me, it's real easy today, and it's because of what we've done already to open. And then drop those legs. You can keep them as wide as you want. You decide. Take three crocodile pose breaths. Here's our last one. Okay, listen to my instrucciones. Plant your forearms so that the elbows are under the shoulders, but they can be wide, okay? And come to Sphinx pose with legs wide apart. Push the front of your pelvis, the groins down. So that means there's some activation of your butt muscles and your leg muscles, and reach your chest forward and reach the throat forward. Then if it feels good, push into palms and come up off of elbows. That's more advanced. Eyes looking up. And let go. And just let go again. Okay, I'm going to grab my long elastic. It could be your strap. I want you to just watch for a brief moment before you join me. My legs are wide and I'm pushing them firmly down. That's the hard part. And I've got my elastic pretty wide, okay? And then watch what I do. I come up and then I start to bend elbows and straighten elbows, taking a straight strap behind me each time. My glutes are working. So go ahead, move into this pose. You're really trying to firm down the groins, lift up the spine. Do about 4 or 5 of those before you rest. And just relax, just breathe. Now bring your legs in closer towards each other and curl toes under. Plant your palms, push up to all fours, and push back to just a real lazy child pose. So when I call them lazy, I mean like if you want to, bring your hands down by your feet and just let your shoulders hang. Let them just hang. And then bring yourselves up to sitting onto heels. So I acknowledge that that whole little set was very intense for this upper body. So make sure you're able to breathe deeply. Come on to palms, curl toes under, and then push yourself to your feet are flat and come back to chair pose. Hello, lower body, right? Hello, lower body. Push those hips back like you're looking for a chair. Arms are forward, breath here. And then come up to standing, arms overhead and palms together. We're at the backs of our mats, okay? So make any adjustments to get to the back of your mat. And also lightly range your head and neck and shoulders. Yeah. Those are always the nemesis of my body, but I welcome the challenge and I have different things I do every day to mobilize that area. Okay, we're getting ready for Virabhadra 3, that powerful warrior pose, okay? And that's going to be our big pose for working with this Navaratri, the 9 days of the goddess. Okay, here we go. Take an inhale, lift the arms up, step forward with the left leg, and then hold there and breathe. So I've already launched my right leg behind me a little bit, and I'm taking a bit of a back bend, and you could stay there or start to ratchet forward. Try to keep the right kneecap pointing downwards. Nice deep breaths. Remember, you could have your left knee bent if that's helpful. Now, come back up and swing that knee through, that right knee. And here we are at stork pose. Oh my God. Then take and put that right foot down ahead of you and step forward with the left and palms together. Take an inhale and reach up so tall. And as you exhale, forward fold. Inhale, part way up, stretch. And then exhale, forward fold again with knees bent, hold opposite elbows, and just hang your torso as it swings side to side. You could even be lightly pulling the elbows down towards the floor. Let your head go, especially the back of the head. The neck. Come back to center, release elbows, and on the inhale, reverse swan all the way up and back to heart. Springtime, spring challenge, release stagnation. Let's step back. Step back for the other side, okay? And before we move, maybe just kind of roll the shoulders again, hands. Getting ready, strong body. Okay, palms together. Here we go. Inhale, arms up, right leg. Hold there and breathe. I'm fully in my right foot, and I'm extending back my left. I've got a little bit of a back bend now. Go into the pose. Part way or all the way, or use the chair, right? Or a wall. Try to even out that kneecap pointing down. And then start to come back up. Swing the left knee through. Feel that power. Step that left foot forward and then the right palms together at heart space. Inhale, reach those arms up. And as you exhale, forward fold, knees bent. Once again, hold opposite elbows. And again, let this upper body, the torso, let it just swing side to side. You decide how much you're bending your knees or if you want them straight. Now, if you feel powerfully strong today, keep holding on to elbows to come back up. Otherwise, release them. And if you're holding on to elbows, slightly pull them apart. And here we go. Inhale all the way up, stretch up, and then release those elbows. Ooh. And I'm going to roll those shoulders back. I'm widening up my legs as wide as my mat or a little wider and turning out a little bit, okay? Soften those knees. And then clasp behind. Now here you could also hold the strap, right? Roll each shoulder back. Take an inhale, gaze up. Exhale, bent knees, drop forward and down. Let the bottom of the head drop towards the mat. Try to squeeze those shoulder blades together. Let your head go more. Those of you who want to could straighten your knees. Eyes are open. Bend your knees deeply. Inhale all the way up. And as you exhale, take a back bend. And release. And let's just move again. Oh man, I'm telling you, for me, it feels like day surgery. Yeah, I've had a lot of tension in my shoulders, that migraine. When I get migraines, my whole body stiffens up. It's neurological, it's crazy. Okay, we're coming to tree pose. You're going, oh goody, something I feel good about, right? Okay, so what do you need? You need to stand against the wall. Do you need a chair? Are you going to be on the floor or on your mat? Okay, I'm going to be right in the center of my cool chakra mat that was given to me by one of my students. Okay, so whenever you're ready, find your tree pose. You decide which leg, you decide which form. Okay, you decide where the hands are going. And we know to really bring in that warrior of the heart, we have to focus. So the gaze is forward and slightly down. The focus is on breath. Oh, it's so beautiful, everybody. Try to stay with it a little longer. It's going to take women to clean up this world. And release. Come to center, palms face forward. If you want to, close your eyes. But you know, we have to be in training, right? We have to practice. We have to show kindness to ourselves, to others. Okay, other side. Find it any way you can. So one of my teachers, Indu Aurora, some of you may know her. She's amazing. She said in this Navaratri, every day, the 9 days, it started yesterday, do something kind for somebody else. Just one thing. And then do something kind for yourself. And take time to meditate on world peace. Those were her 3 tips for every day of the 9 days. And then come back out. Once again, palms forward, soft eyes or eyes closed. And just move a little bit. Okay, I hope that felt really distilling and grounded for you. That's how it felt for me. Okay. So I'm going to show you how to use either your strap or your elastic. And I want to show it to you first, and then we're going to do it together. So I'm going to show it to you in a triangle pose where I'm going to have it wide again. And if it's your strap, it's the same idea. There's tension. And watch what I do. I've got it about equal to my shoulders. And I'm going to find myself in triangle. I get a pretty wide one. And then I'm going to be pulling the strap down, and I'm at my ankle, and I'm working the other end up. And this is really amazing for strengthening and stretching the chest area, the hips. Okay. So if you want to use your strap or your elastic, get it in place like I'm showing, and put out your left leg as your starter point for triangle. Okay. Yeah. And then take your time. You're going to pull that so that your arms are shoulder height. Okay. And then you're going to find the same tip of the triangle. And you could even have your hand to your inner knee. That's a nice place, especially if you're feeling really tight today, or start to crawl it down deeper. Okay. You'll find the elastic or the strap really helps. That looks really good. Stay there and breathe. I'm watching everybody. I love that pad. I can see that really nice. Hard to do. And then come back up. Come back up and just keep the legs as they are, but just kind of relax the shoulders, but hold on to that strap. Okay. Now, same thing. Pull that strap or elastic behind you, shoulder height. This time, bend that front knee, that left knee, and I come in a little deeper to really drop in, and find your warrior two. So my back arm is lengthening, my front arm is lengthening. Breathe here. And we're going to take it to a windmill if we can. That front knee is bent, and we're going to windmill the torso so that you're trying to touch the floor with the fingers and the strap, and reach up high with the other side, the right arm. And then come back up and release. And before we go any further, you can bring your legs in and just move. I'm keeping my spot on my elastic, but I'm wiggling my fingers. Okay. Oh yeah. So for me, I just had a really big click at about my cervical 7 or 8, which was obviously stuck. Okay, other side. Turn out the right leg, step back with the left. So there's our triangle. You decide how deep. My knees are trying to stay straight. Reach out those arms, strong here. And then tip in at the hip joint and come to an easy triangle. Don't try to kill yourself here, okay? Remember, we're warriors of the heart. We have to stay alive. And then if the body lets you, drop down deeper while you're pulling on that strap, which is so good for the body. Breathe here. Nice. And then carefully come up. Keep the leg where it is, but just kind of release those arms for a moment. Okay, this next part, bend that right knee. So see how I bent my knee and I brought my hips lower. I even widened up more, and then reach out. There's your warrior two. The back arm is just as strong as the front. Hold their breathing, try to sink in deeper. And then if you can, windmill with power, okay? The power is the pulling of the strap. Breath here. Come back up and release. Turn your toes forward, let go of that strap, just throw it, just throw it. And we'll just kind of move our hips a little. My legs are still wide. Shake out those shoulders and arms, fingers. So it is like day surgery, especially as we age and as women, that's the area, chest and upper back. Okay, stay wide. Feet are slightly turned out. Now, pop your butt back like you're looking for that chair, one hand each knee. So we're in an upper squat here, okay? Upper squat, shoulders back. You can stay here. This is so good, right? Or you could find a chair and just lightly put your butt on the chair, but don't sit on it. Just lightly touch it. Or I know you all, some of you are going to come deeper. That's it. Yeah. You can see I'm really pushing my elbows into the inner knees, which really helps lengthen my spine. Yes, that looks really good. Try to stay low or above it. And then tip forward, hands back on those knees, and come back up. And let's walk those legs in, roll those shoulders. Okay, we're coming to another balancing pose. You've probably seen a beautiful crescent moon last night. It was so beautiful. I was downtown and it was over the new courthouse dome, or it's not new, they've regenerated it. And it was so beautiful. Okay, so we're gonna honor the moon by coming into this Ardha Chandrasana. So this would be how I do it, because I do it a lot, but you could also use a block. And I wanna remind you, I'm bringing the chair in to show you, it's on the mat, that I face the chair with that front leg, and then I put my forearm down, and you could work your Ardha Chandrasana in this manner. So find your side, whatever side you want, and find your pose. We're gonna stay in this pose for at least 10 breaths. Oh my God, right? At least 10 breaths, and you can come in and out of it, okay? You could also advance it. You want to make sure that the leg you're standing in is facing the front of your mat, that it's not twisted inward, which is what we normally want to do, because that'll hurt you over time. Hold and breathe. Remember, come out if you need to, spread your toes, open up. This is that deep power pose. When I say that, I mean that it's working all the channels of the body, all the chakras of the body. And we got a couple more breaths. Turn your head to look down first and carefully come out. Come out slowly. Once out, stand, sama sthiti. Breathe. Just let that breath move through you. This is known as a classic woman's pose because it opens up all the centers, especially into the pelvic area, first, second, and third chakra. Okay, let's go to the other side. Let's see what happens. Remember, you could do anything I showed you or any other modification you've tried that has worked for you. Remember, one side typically teaches us patience. This might be that side, maybe not. And we breathe with it. That warrior of the heart knows that patience is a big deal. Really challenging in this current world to be patient. Advance if you want or not, but try to stay here in your deep resilience, your endurance. We have 2 more breaths. And with this last exhale, look down. Come out of it carefully, slowly. Come back up to sama sthiti. Let yourself feel the energy moving through you. Sometimes that scares us, but really try to feel it. And then we're going to start to make our way down to the mats, but I just wanted to show you, maybe while you're still standing, an option for you. I'm going to take for what we're going to do next. So I'm pretending that I have a wall here, okay? And I've got the chair on the mat. And if you feel confident, you don't have to have the wall. And I'm going to come down. So this is one idea. And I'm going to be so close to the chair. Look how close I am. Okay. And then I'm going to swing myself to bring my legs up on the chair. Okay. I'm actually going to take and bring my butt kind of under the chair. You can see that. I'm going to hold the legs, and then I'm going to put the bottom of my foot along the edge of the chair, the front edge of the seat. And I'm going to roll my shoulders under, and I'm going to really work myself into this really cool way to do a shoulder stand. Okay, so you could do that if you want. You could lift a leg, you could lift two, one leg, two legs. You could come right into the full shoulder stand. So you could do that, or you could do legs up the wall and then shoulder stand off of that, or not. You could put a block under your sacrum. So those are your choices. I'd like you to find a shoulder stand that feels good. Remember, legs up the wall is just wonderful with nothing else. That could be your shoulder stand today. And I'm showing that. And that actually feels so good. So come into whatever feels right, a chair, or some of you say, oh no, I love shoulder stand. I do it all the time. Or legs up the wall and then the block. You lift your hips, block under the sacrum, and you find your shoulder stand like that. And I want you all to stay in your shoulder stand or come out of it if you need to, and try to stay in it. We're going to try to stay in it for 1 minute. So I've chosen to start with my legs up a wall, and then I lifted my hips and I put the block under my sacrum, and I rested my sacrum on the block, and I lengthened my legs straight up. I've rolled my shoulders under me, and I'm clasping my hands and just breathing. So this is a way to drain the lymphatics, which get really stuck this time of year. And we really want to, especially as women, because of the breast tissue, we want to really drain the lymphatics. Your chin is lightly tucked in or even pushing firmly, and that's working your thyroid and parathyroid. Very good for calcium uptake. We're about halfway through. Remember, you can come out anytime you want. This is a great way to bring energy to the third eye, the ajna, right there between the eyebrows. And we're going to start to now come out carefully. So if you're at a wall, you're putting your feet at the wall, you're releasing the block if you were using it, you're bringing your hips all the way down. If you were using a chair, you're bringing your hips down. You can rest your legs on the chair if you want, and just breathe. Just breathe. Always important not to rush when we do such an important pose. Then we're going to start to bring the knees in towards the chest and hug them in. They could be separate or together. You could rock a tiny bit. And we're all going to roll out to the left. Carefully come up to sitting, and then bring yourselves along your mat, laying down onto your back. Find your strap again. We're going to use it in a moment, but just kind of keep it handy. And drop down as though into Shavasana, though we're not quite ready for Shavasana. And just breathe. We can go firm and fierce and challenging to the body, but we also want to nourish it and nurture it and know when to relax it. And then let's bring those knees in again towards the sides of the chest and take a happy baby pose that you might like. You could rock in that pose. You could straighten knees if you want. See what feels good. And then bend those knees and bring them together as well as your ankles. And if you want to put a block between your knees, go ahead. Arms out, shoulder height. And we're going to exhale and take the knees all the way down to the left, and they can open up if they need to. Head to the right. Wonderful. Jatara. This is a very powerful de-stagnating sort of pose. Try to drop the right shoulder all the way down. And some of you can straighten one leg or both and try to hold the toes. So that means the toes are about equal in height along the floor to the left shoulder. Try to go deeper into the belly with an exhale. Releasing carefully, bending knees, coming back to center. So these are what they call the finishing poses. So important. Let's come down to the other side. Remember, their knees can part if they need to, or a block could come between them. For me, it's more important to think about, can you get that left shoulder closer to the mat? And then do you want to advance the pose, okay? Just because you advanced it on one side does not mean you have to advance it on the other. Go deeper into the belly. Jatara means we're moving into the hara. We're moving into that deep center of energy in the belly, the third chakra. Releasing, coming back to center. Oh my, and put your feet flat. Getting ready for some yogi abs. Clasp behind your heavy head. Try to stretch the back of the neck and try to open the elbows all the way down to the mat. No pain, okay? Here we go. Take an inhale. Exhale, lift chest first and then head. Inhale down and continue. And if you want to advance it, please do. So remember, every time you lift the chest and head, the navel sinks in towards the spine. It doesn't pop out. So that's how you can adjust and get so much deeper into this belly. And if you're advancing it, please do. We have about 6 more. Remember, advancing it does not mean you've changed. You're still lifting chest and then head, chest and then head. And we'll do 3 more. Here comes the last one. Fold the left knee in, hover the right leg just off the mat, and on your next exhale, right elbow, left knee, hold there, hold there. Chin is tucked, chin is tucked. Try to work deeper into the belly. And come back, switching legs, that's hard. Exhale. Lift that elbow, lift that shoulder, bring it to the opposite knee. Chin is tucked, sips the breath. You might notice that one side is easier to do. Sometimes we're stronger on one half of the abdominal muscles. And come back to center. Release that heavy head, hands to knees. We'll do circles. Doesn't that feel good? Oh. And then circle in the other direction. And then drop the left leg, put the strap or elastic around the right foot. Try to straighten that leg straight up. Oh yeah. And we're gonna Lower the shoulders, the back of the shoulders right to the mat. Pull the front of the foot towards your face. Push the heel right up towards the ceiling. If you got elastic, you're trying to pull the bent elbows right to the sides of the body. Powerful bone density work now. Then hold that strap just in the right hand. Open the leg out to the side, head to the left. Don't let the left hip lift. Use your long exhales. Come back up. Other side. Take it over the body. The hip is lifted. The right hip is lifted. You're trying to drop the right chest right down if you can. And come back up. Let's switch legs, switch the foot. Oh yeah. Remember, chin is slightly tucked as we come to this other side. Pull that straight leg towards your face. Get that front of the foot towards your face, heel up. Feel that difference. This is hello hamstrings. Hold the strap just in the left hand, open up. So it's really rare that your leg would come all the way down to the floor. So make sure maybe your elbows touching the floor. Head to the right. Don't let the right hip lift at all. You could even touch it with your hand and make sure it's down. Come back up to center. You're all going to want to go dancing tonight. I just know it. I don't know where to go though on a Monday night. Nowhere, our houses. And then take the leg over. Try to really counter rotate so the left shoulder is trying to drop straight down. Breathe here. Whole body's active. And come back up. Last part, both legs in the strap or elastic, but apart about 6 inches. And then butt is down. So you might have a lumbar slight curve, that's okay. And now if you have the elastics, pull firmly, trying to get the whole back of the shoulder blades down. Push the heels up, toes towards your face, chin is tucked. Hold here, breathing. And release. Let's let go of that elastic. Let's put our hands to our bellies, eyes closed, knees are bent, feet are flat. Take a few breaths here. We had a very dynamic, very powerful practice today to enter into that power of the female, right? The power of the nourishment, the nurturance, it's all there. Now I want you to ask yourself if there's any final poses that you need to do before Shavasana. And if there is, take another 30 seconds to a minute for that, but then start to bring yourself down. Start to bring yourselves all the way down. Oh yeah. You might need to wiggle a little, move a little, maybe rotate a few things, but then drop yourself down. Remember, if your low back is bothering you, a rolled blanket or bolster under your knees will take care of that. Also check in with your neck, just lightly rotating your head side to side. And now everybody come down, come all the way down. Let this Mother Earth hold you. She's crying, she's sad, and she still has so much to share with us. Every day when we take our compost out to the compost pile, when we water our plants, when we sit quietly near a tree, we are nourishing her as well. And just let this body drop. Just let go now. Let go into the true yoga, the true coming together, body, mind, spirit. And then so lovingly and so easily start to come out of that pose. Just coming out, just easily. Stretching a little. And as you're ready, rolling to one side. And as you're ready, coming up to sitting. Maybe a lift again under your hips. I just put one under mine. It feels good. You decide. We're going to take Garuda Mudra, palms face each other, cross wrists, and then hook thumbs, just easily. And let this kind of float somewhere between the heart space and the throat space. The fourth and fifth chakra, speaking our truth more clearly. Freedom, that's what the eagle represents. And as you hold this pose, let your eyes rest closed. And I'm going to read you a poem called Healing. There is healing in the laying on of hands, in the letting go of fear, in asking for help, in silence, celebration, prayer. There is healing in speaking the truth and in keeping still, in seeking sunlight and not shunning your struggle. Laughter and the affirmation of wholeness hold their own healing. When the soul dances, when the day begins in delight, when love grows and cannot be contained, when life flows from moment to moment, healing happens in the space between thoughts and the breath before the first sung note. Healing is a birthright and a grace. When we dare to be open to the unknown, when we extend ourselves in caring, when we welcome in the vast expanse of life, healing comes from the heart and blossoms from the inside out. There is one ray of light, then more. I open the door, take one deep breath, and begin another day. Let's release that mudra, taking palms together, acknowledging the glory within yourself and the glory of others, the namaste. A silent om to end our practice. And namaste to each and every